So a local prosecutor in Louisiana is now disputing claims made by state police about that deadly crash that led to the arrest of college football star Kyren Lacy. The Lafourche Parish DA says that the police probe had several inconsistencies and is questioning how it betrayed the LSU wide receiver's actions. Well, earlier this week, state police released this new surveillance video, which they say shows Lacy speeding in the wrong lane and passing 4 cars moments before the wreck. Police concluded that Lacy caused the crash because another car swerved into oncoming traffic. The one-time NFL prospect was days from going before a grand jury in April when police in Texas say he died by suicide. Lacy's lawyer claiming the week that the new video shows he wasn't close enough to cause the wreck. Joining me now, investigative reporter Olivia Rubin, also legal contributor Brian Buckmeyer. So, Olivia, what more are we hearing from the DA's office?
Well, Kara, you're talking about those inconsistencies that were in the state police's report and their conclusion that ultimately led them to believe that Lacy did cause this crash. But because of those inconsistencies that the DA is talking about, this all really raises questions about whether he really was the one that caused the crash. First, what this DA report is saying is that while Lacy was speeding and was in the wrong lane, he was back in a correct lane well before this crash occurred. That's how the DA's report is framing this. They're also saying that had this been a legal area where you could pass other cars, he would have been back in the correct lane 3 times before, with 3 times the amount of allotted space that would have been needed and that would have been legal had this been a legal area to pass. They're also raising questions about those cars that did swerve and ultimately caused that fatal car crash. Remember, there is a truck, Kira, and there is a car behind the truck, and originally, police had said that the car behind the truck swerved to avoid Lacy's incoming car. But now this DA's report is saying that that car was way too close to the truck that was in front of it, and that in reality, it could have been swerving to avoid the truck that was in front of it, not to avoid Lacy's car. And then there's also being questions raised, Kira, about the charges here. One of the charges that police were going to pursue was that felony hit and run, raising the fact that Lacy didn't stay on scene, that he didn't call 911 to try to help what had gone on here. But now, Kira, this report saying Lacy might not have known at all that he was involved in this crash, and that's why he left, because he just simply wasn't close enough to know that this was something that he could have had an impact on. And that echoes what his attorney has said publicly, which is that Lacy left because he had no idea that he had caused this crash. Remember, his car wasn't actually involved in the crash there. So a lot of questions raised here, Kira.
So, Brian, explain to us how and why state police and the local DA might draw different conclusions here.
So just take everything that Olivia eloquently laid out for us, right, and then put it into the framework of this. We're talking about felony negligent homicide. And what that means is you're not accusing Lacy of being the sole contributor to the accident, but a substantial or a substantial one. Let's leave it at that, right? And so we can argue, okay, did he get back into the lane soon enough? Did the other driver see him? Did the gold truck have the opportunity to move? What is substantial? What level of responsibility does Lacy have towards this? And then taking the inconsistencies, you could see how 2 people of a reasonable mind would say, okay, Lacy was substantial enough in contributing to this homicide, even though he was not very close. And another reasonable mind saying, no, he was too far away. He was back in the lane, and this person might have turned for another reason. So it's trying to figure out what is substantial and what is not in this argument.
So, Brian, Olivia, we'll track it. Thank you.